Hi, Kendall. How are you? So great to be chatting with you.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. My name is Tara Terrell, and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Buckeye Review. So thank you again for, taking the time to speak with me. I know your time is limited. Congratulations,
Thank
first and foremost. Let's
you.
And I want to first start off by asking you, what ignited your spark to partner with Charmin?
Yeah, it was a mishap in Oregon, actually, where I got trapped in a porta potty. And the lock got jammed and I was stuck in there. And so Charmin thankfully stepped in to help alleviate any other bathroom concerns or bathroom related issues. And so thankful to partner with them and really excited about it.
How amazing is that uh, a situation like that has turned into a partnership? Like you were able to turn
Incredible.
yes.
Incredible. Like a terrible experience and one that I really didn't enjoy. But now that it led to this, maybe it was worth it. Maybe just maybe.
A little bit. Well, I'm curious, what was going through your mind when you were in that situation?
Yeah, at first it was no way am I stuck in here. Like of all things to happen and at all times for it to happen, no way. And then once realization sunk in, it was like, okay, we have to remain calm as possible and not get too worked up because we do still have to compete. And so I don't want to be overly emotional or like drained from this experience when I eventually do get out. And so kind of just trying to figure out what to do about it. Like, do I want to be that girl banging on the inside of a porta potty, begging for help? If it gets me out, absolutely. So that was just an L I had to take.
Would you say that was like in terms of just staying calm,
Mhm.
that impacted your outlook on dealing with mishaps and unexpected events just in general? Like that was what you
Yeah,
took?
yeah, I think so. I was really proud of the way I managed my emotions because I do struggle with anxiety and nerves, and a lot of times that has come in the way of my performances before. And so I think this time having the maturity and emotional maturity to be like, absolutely not. Like I am not letting my emotions ruin this moment for me or take over. And so getting myself to calm down and like think rationally was really big for me.
Well, that's truly commendable of you, just having that emotional intelligence. I will admit, I am still working through my emotional intelligence and how I react to certain situations. So, round of applause for you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So do you have any pre-race rituals or like favorite music to get you hyped about competing or competitions?
Shockingly enough, I'm not a big music listener before competitions. I think that always surprises people because we're so used to hearing athletes like their favorite warm-up song and this and that. But for me, it's just silence. It really is just silent when I'm getting ready. I do like podcasts, so sometimes I'll have a podcast playing. I really like to read and just pop culture things. So no music for me, but I do like to have a podcast going in the back or like YouTube while I'm getting ready.
Right. People underestimate the power of stillness and
Yeah,
just silence and just, establishing that interconnectedness.
right.
So, yes. And so, like, I know you're from South Florida. I'm actually in South
Yeah.
Florida now. Yes.
Period.
So, how do you stay connected to your South Florida roots while traveling and competing internationally?
Yeah, so many of my friends and my community is based in South Florida. And so, I'm not a big chatter when I'm at competitions. I don't really like to talk too much. But just I do get messages of support from friends and family. And I am a very proud Floridian. And so that's where I started my career. That's where so much of my career was built. And so I always have that in the back of my mind of like, I may be representing on the world stage and I'm representing USA, but like I'm also representing Pembroke Pines, Florida, and I don't carry that lightly.
Yes, absolutely. I'm right now, I'm in Coral Springs, Florida. So
Oh
I
yeah,
know,
you're right by home.
right. I know that very well. And you spoke about community. So what
Mhm.
advice would you give to young athletes who aspire to reach the level of success you've achieved?
Yeah, I'd say I I would say don't take yourself too seriously. I think a lot of times we have these massive goals and things that we want to achieve, of course, and it can kind of suck the fun out of it all. But I think
Mhm.
reminding yourself that it's supposed to be fun. You started doing it because it was something that you enjoyed and not taking it too seriously, having fun with it, keeping it light and that doesn't mean not being focused or not intentional about everything that you're doing, but just remembering that the reason you started was because you enjoyed it.
Mhm. Absolutely. And do you have any, I know we're speaking, long term, and
Mhm.
I'm sure you're like, my head right now is Paris Olympics. But in terms of long term goals and success, is there like, what are your aspirations beyond the sport?
Yeah, I think my aspirations beyond the sport still kind of come back to the sport. Ultimately, I would love to be or continue to be, I suppose, a mentor for the younger generation. I think just I remember growing up in the sport and really, really wishing I had someone to just talk to about it and tell me things that I didn't know. I had no idea what it meant to become a professional track athlete or what that looked like and what the process was. And for me, I think I always want to be that person who people can reach out to and get a response about things and learn about the sport and just know more. And so I hope that I leave an impact on others so that they can go on to make more and more of an impact to other people that I can't necessarily reach.
For sure, paying it forward, and
Yeah,
I live by the quote, "To whom much is given, much is required."
right.
Um, and I feel like you do such a great job of just realizing a bigger picture. And yes, it is about you, but it's not just about you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
so much more, yes, to the story. And now, how did your experience at the Tokyo Olympics shape your training and mindset for Paris?
I remember getting 4th at the Olympic trials in 2021, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. I remember telling my parents, "Give me 5th place, give me 6th place," but 4th place was just a little too close to have not made it in the individual 400. And so leading up to training, 3 years later, thankfully we didn't have to wait the 4 years, but 3 years later, just remembering that moment, remembering how disappointed I felt and how heartbreaking it was, really fueled training sessions of like, that's not gonna happen again, like, absolutely not, and so, headed into, the Olympic trials this year, that was, like, a little bit in the back of my head of being like, "I don't want that to experience that ever again, so let's make sure we can do everything in our power to make sure that it doesn't."
I feel like that's a constant story with you, turning those trials into triumphs and
Yeah.
or turning those challenges around for the better good.
You know? From a porta party to Charmin, like, here we go.
Exactly. Exactly. So any lasting words, for our audience or anything you want to say, let us know, give us a little tidbit about anything.
I don't have anything, I think you covered all the bases.
Okay. Well, no, this was such a treat. Like I said, thank you again. Congratulations. And yeah, I'm super excited for you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.